How's everyone doing today? Howdy, howdy. Good to have you in the chat, my friend. Today's discussion is about PTSD and homelessness and how they can be related. Because it seems like since I have been diagnosed with PTSD, I'm having trouble maintaining a steady home, all besides where I'm at now, which that's coming to an end. So, and I don't know everything, but what is it about PTSD and trying to keep a home? Well, I can tell you from experience that with this illness, it's hard to stay in one place. And there's several reasons why. The number one reason is when you have post-traumatic stress disorder and you move into somewhere, if there is a Karen, so to speak, you know what I'm talking about. Lordy, I'd hate to be named Karen nowadays, but if there's a Karen that lacks understanding or compassion, that they will make life very hard on you. And with PTSD, life is hard enough as it is. But eventually, you will feel like that person, and it's usually true, does not want you living there because they fear you. When really, most people with PTSD, despite what you see on the news, and despite what you hear, okay, most people with PTSD is harmless. Yo, happy birthday to my Indian friend. I know I'm going to not get his name right, but Sakamawa. He's a big fan. Thank you. AKP, good morning. So, talking about PTSD and homelessness and why it's hard for most people with PTSD to maintain a home. Well, there's usually someone in the proximity of where they're living that's afraid of them, and people hate that they are afraid of. Well, I'm here to tell you that most people with PTSD, unless you got bad intentions, they are not a threat to you. Now, if you got bad intentions and you're out to make your life a hell, well, then it could become a dangerous situation. But 99.999% of people with PTSD, if you treat them with dignity and respect, you're not going to have any problems out of them. Now, they may act a little strange. They may walk around with a mask on or body armor. Uh-oh. Just give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back and I apologize for that. So, most of the time, when someone has post-traumatic stress disorder, they act a little strange, but in a real life true situation, if someone's trying to harm you, that person with PTSD, especially if it's been violence related, which a lot of PTSD is violence related. They've been in a violent situation and has caused them problems in their life. But that person with PTSD is more than likely to defend you against the bad guy. Even if you don't like that person, even if you don't know that person, most people with PTSD are hypervigilant and very protective because they don't want what happened to them to happen to you. Therefore, they will go to drastic lengths to keep from what happened to them to happen to you. And they're usually prepared for it. For instance, when someone has PTSD through being a victim, because they are many ways to get post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not necessarily combat related. Now mine is, but a lot of them, it could be, from being in an abusive relationship. Hey, Ashton. A lot of them, it could be from just seeing something just god awful, because you cannot unsee anything. So that is my warning to you. Be careful what you expose yourself to, because you didn't miss nothing, buddy. Just getting started. So they've been exposed to something that they just can't unsee. Usually something very horrible. And unlike these horror movies, it's not the same. Because with post-traumatic stress disorder, when you're exposed to something bad, you will have triggers. And the reason why you got the triggers is because it will be related to what that person saw. For instance, certain smells, because that's the smell that they relate to when they experience their trauma. Certain music that will be related to that trauma. Triggers, like I said, triggers, things that they relate to the trauma can trigger their PTSD. Oh yeah, I'm still awake, I never sleep. No rest for the wicked. But actually, I'm a good guy, really. But, so, when you got them triggers, someone with PTSD will tend to act a little bit irrational. Such as this lovely person here that knows that I've been awake for a very long time. No, I'm in America. But, and I will get to the chat the best I can, but I cannot keep up with it. Someone said, what's good with it? What you outfit with? Well, I got me a mask because I like to play airsoft, and I challenge you to go to a video where I wasn't wearing face protection, just eye protection. I got shot in the nose, and I had to dig that dang BB. Hello. I had to dig that BB Doomsday Prepper. Yes, I am. I had to. Well, my wife dug that BB out of my nose, so I figured, well, that wasn't very fun. So I got the mask. Because I like to play airsoft because it is great exercise. And it is a great way to practice combat, close quarter combat. And let's see, somebody said, oh damn, that's crazy. You good? It do a lot of damage. Yep. Ashton, can I get out your shoe? What? Now be careful. Now we do not disrespect. You got to be respectful in the chat or you will be gone. My moderators do not play. They're very protective. So the best thing to do if you got somebody with PTSD that's around you is just treat them with decency, because they're the quickest way to get harmed by someone with PTSD is to make them feel disrespected. And like for instance, I noticed that people over the phone, they'll be very disrespectful, but that's easy because, I can't, in your mind, you don't think that that person with PTSD can get to you. But what you don't realize is someone with PTSD, they overanalyze everything. They think of it from every angle and every which way, okay? So, for instance, I can get somebody's name here and trace it back to their channel. And then I can trace that back to their IP address, which more than likely is their home address. So, you really want to be careful on the net because there's a lot of crazy people out there. And my dad has PTSD for years. Long story, years ago, guy was dressed as a cop, put him and his friend over heading to work and shot at them point blank. They both lived. I'm glad they did it. But I'm sure that, some things can be hard for him now. So, that is one thing about someone with PTSD. They're hypervigilant and we tend to overreact. Now, if someone's trying to harm a good person, well, we will overreact in protecting the good person, and the bad person will get extrally punished, okay? To where, where a normal person would just go, okay, that person's had enough. The person with a PTSD will not stop. Their level of enough is, a regular person's level of enough is here. A person with PTSD, their level of enough is way up here. Such as, I'm an MMA fighter. my cage fight. When I've been disrespected by an opponent, I will literally pound on that opponent until the referee literally physically pulls me off of them. So, it doesn't matter how much they tap. It doesn't matter. Until the referee pulls me off of them, they're going to get punished. Hence, a lot of people with PTSD, they'll have the Punisher symbol. They might even go as far as getting it tattooed on them. Because they would do whatever it is they think they got to do to keep from whatever happened to them from happening again. Hey, Joe Morgan. Good to see you, my friend. What's my PTSD from? Well, let's just say I'm not as mentally as strong. Well, I'm not going to say it that way. Let's just say I've seen some very bad things and did some very bad things. And people that experience some true horrors in a combat situation really does not like to talk about it. Not that much. What am I driving? I got an old beat up Harley out there. My ducks are still in bed. KP were very nasty last night. I know you love your ducks, Joe Morgan. So, someone with PTSD, and they have a hard time managing their money properly. For instance, when they should pay their rent or their light bill. Yes, I ride. I ride, baby. So, when they should pay their rent, they feel the need to spend money on things that they feel will keep them safe. So, a lot of people with PTSD has poor money management skills because they place protection before housing. And if they're not lucky like I am to have a wife that prioritizes and makes sure the bills are paid. Also, it's hard for someone with PTSD to live like most people do. Case in point, when I first got with my wife, my second wife, the best woman in the whole world. When she moved in with me, I lived in an apartment, and over every window I had 3/4-inch plywood bolted to the walls that covered all the windows. So, she likes natural sunlight. I am always worried that somebody's going to take a pop shot at me and get me through a window. So, I tend to board up the windows where that ain't going to happen. And, yeah, paranoid, exactly. Most people with PTSD are paranoid. And, and then when they have, like Justine, saying hello, psycho, well, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with it. Really, I don't. Because this channel is, I'm a Christian constitutionalist, and I believe in the Constitution, and you have the right of freedom of speech. Okay? So, I'm cool with that, and honestly, I'll admit up to it. I can be a psycho. I'm sure I look like one right now. That's another thing. Someone with PTSD will on purposely look like a psycho as a defensive mechanism to basically, it's a, you know how some people put up beware a dog, okay? Someone with PTSD will put up a persona of beware of me. Approach with caution. Careful. Someone said paranoid, and everybody's coming to get me. Just say you never met me. I'm running underground with the moles, digging holes. Yes. Yes. Such as one of my favorite places in the whole world to be is in what some people may know as a spider hole. Okay, so if you know what a spider hole is, it ain't got nothing to do with no spider. I'll explain briefly. A spider hole is, or maybe somebody that knows can put it in the chat. If not, then I'll go ahead and explain it. Unless I see somebody put it in there. We like to dig a hole in the ground. Let's see. Such as, we'll dig a hole in the ground and make it a hiding place. And then, make a little, get a piece of plywood or something and disguise it and make it look like the grass or whatever. And slide that over top of us. And we literally feel like a baby in his mama's womb, nice and safe and comfy. So, a person with PTSD, that you may look at them and see the position they're in and go, damn, that must be very uncomfortable. But for them, they could not be more content nor more comfortable. Such as, Briar Rabbit in the briar patch. Okay? We're comfortable that way. So, back to, and it's hard for us to stay on subject also. We tend to have ADD. But, so when my future wife, then now we're married, but when she came over, she noticed that all the windows in the apartment had 3/4 inch pressure treated plywood over all the windows and bolted to the walls. And, any normal person would be like, something's off here. I'm getting the hell out of here. But no, not my wife. She's so strong. She is strong and just, she is not to be underestimated, nor to be trifled with. Because if you get a woman that's brave enough to roll with someone that's so messed up like me, hey, what's up there, Team Grizzly? That, she's just not scared of me because she knows that I'm literally most of the time, the most safest place you could be is being around someone that has PTSD. Because that person will go to great lengths to defend you, because they don't want what happened to them to happen to you. Hence, I had all the windows boarded up, even the sliding glass doors, because I don't like sliding glass doors at all. So I boarded them up too, where there was only two ways in and 2 ways out. And one of the ways in was the front door, which something like you would see in a movie. You'd come in and someone would shut the door and you'd see like 10 locks on the door. And then you would notice that's not a regular door. Somebody changed that door out and put a metal door in with a metal door frame. And then also got something to prop against that door where they can literally barricade themselves inside there. So, but again, she was not afraid. And I had another window that, because I'm a hunter. There's this, if anybody out there is a hunter, when you hunt, you'll cut you a shooting lane. You'll cut the bushes out of the way and all. That way you got your clear shooting lane. That way if you're shooting a bow or whatever, there's nothing to get in your way. That way you got a clear shot. Or if you watch Spartan 300, it's called like Hell's Gates, where, such as, I had a window. It was a small window. And it literally was at the end of a hallway where only one person at a time could have crawled in that window. And I would turn all the lights off and all the rest of the place was boarded up. But that one window at the end of that hallway would be left open. And I would get a chair at the other end of the hallway and sit there with my back against the wall. And for the people in here that knows I never sleep, I would sit there in that chair just looking at that open window. Why? When anybody else that was in the house was sleeping like a normal person, I would sit there and just look at that window going, I wish a mofo would. Okay? So I would just sit there night after night after night. And I lived in that apartment for a very long time. I had a couple people that tried to run me out of there that lived next to me and all, that were afraid of me, but I'm not easy to run off. Matter of fact, the more someone pushes against me, the more I resist. So, and also I had lived in that apartment with my 3 beautiful daughters that grew up in that apartment and had a lot of good memories there and some bad memories. For instance, the best dog I ever had, which was half wolf and half shepherd. Very dangerous dog, because he had that wolf in him, but he had that shepherd in him, so it was a very intelligent, dangerous dog. But I had that dog for 16 years, and eventually he had kidney failure, and I had to have him put down. But the vet knew me so well, the vet came to the house and put the dog down in the apartment. So it was hard for me to leave that apartment, because that was the last place that I had seen that dog alive. It was my best friend and my partner, and I trusted him. Okay? Because wolves are very family oriented, and they have the pack mentality, and they're very aggressively protective, much like someone with PTSD, by the way. So me and that dog understood each other, just like me and these dogs here. This rascal right here. He was on death row. I only get dogs that are on death row, and I rescue them. And the reason, come here, boy. See, look at him. Come here. Come here. Come here. So, he has behavior problems. Alright? And he will bite. He'll bite any chance he gets, really, if he don't know you. But we understand each other. So everyone, please hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel. And you will learn a lot. You will learn a lot watching this channel. I promise you that. Like, I encourage you to, you can leave this live here for a moment and just check out the channel and see that I got a whole playlist on foraging. I can literally teach you how to eat without ever having to go to the grocery store, and how to eat healthy without ever having to spend no money. Okay? And due to the price of groceries right now, that may be something you might want to check into, is how to eat for little or no money. Because I will teach you that. Reason being, when I was a child and I was growing up, there was times that my mother was a single woman trying to raise a batshit crazy son on a single income, and it was a struggle. So, and I knew my mama was struggling financially, and I knew that I ate a lot. So I learned how to feed myself. Then I can get deeper in that in a minute. I'll go and go there now before I get, because I'm going to jump all over the place. But I will eventually get back to what I was talking about. My mama, which she passed away 6 months ago, and I'm just going to tell you right now, you can go ahead and make fun of me, I don't care. I work as a bouncer, but my mama, I'm a mama's boy. Straight up, I'm a mama's boy. And I love my mama very much. And she put up with a lot of nonsense from me. Okay? But I knew she was struggling to put food in the house. So I learned how to go out and get my own food. Now the first thing I learned was, now I was just a little young lad, just a young little fella, and we had a chicken farm not far from where we lived. Well, I would go to that chicken farm in the middle of the night and take me a bunch of chicken eggs and bring them home. That way I knew my mama had food to eat and I have food to eat. Now, a little psychology here. When you're really hungry, and then you get to eat something, that's something you get to eat when you're really hungry, you will really like that food, because food always tastes better when you're hungry. Alright? So, I do not do drugs. No. So, I do not do drugs. Now, that's a lie. Caffeine is a drug. You're right. You're right. Caffeine is a drug. So that's the only drug I do is caffeine. But most people won't admit that caffeine is a drug, but you are correct. Caffeine is a drug. So, yeah, there's that. And it's an addiction. It's true. But anyway, let me talk about the eggs. Getting me off topic, talking about drugs. I hate drugs. I don't smoke no cigarettes. I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do no drugs except for caffeine. Alright? So, I would eat them eggs, and I'd get them eggs from my mama. And it was like a scene out of Forrest Gump. I ate fried eggs, I ate scrambled eggs, I ate any omelets, any way you could eat an egg, any way you could make an egg, I would do it. I even made tuna fish omelets with eggs. And to this day, no, I'm not a tweaker. And I'm not a snitch. But if I catch somebody with methamphetamines, I will report them to the local authorities, because that is a demonic drug and it is very evil. But that's the only thing, well, pretty much the only thing that I would ever tell on anybody about. But you messing with that methamphetamine around me, you gonna get in trouble. I promise you that. Because I got zero tolerance for that right there. And I'll tell you why. Because I had a stepdad that was on that methamphetamines, and he was a bad man. And he ended up going to federal prison for trafficking methamphetamines. So, I got a zero tolerance for that there particular drugs, especially. And someone with PTSD on methamphetamines, that would be a horror story. So, and I already have anxiety. So I'm not messing with that crap. Because I promise you, if and when I can sleep, I need to get it. And from what I see and hear with that particular drug, you cannot sleep. I don't know.